Welcome to the review of Phantasie 3, The Wrath of Nikademus. This game was created by Strategic Simulations, the same corporation that created the well-known Gold Box series. This is the 1988 DOS version. You start off in the game in a town called Pendragon. And the first thing you do is go to the guild and add party members. There are quite a few races to choose from: human, dwarf, elf, gnome, halfling, and there's a menu option for random. Random creatures can either be fighters or thieves. I like to think of the random races as outlaws, because they're all creatures that seem to be not very social. You have ogres, orcs, minotaurs, goblins. This was a very cool feature for a 1988 game. So here I'm just going to show you some of the sprites of the various characters you can be. Starting from the upper left, we have human, dwarf, elven, then we get to gnomes and halflings. Then toward the bottom are all the random races. We have lizardmen, pixies, trolls, minotaur, and ogre. Some of the races in the game reuse the same sprites. For example, the sprite on the second from bottom left can also be a pixie. Likewise, the gnome sprite can also be goblins. I scanned in the user manual to the game so we can see some of the classes and races. Notice how they have different advantages and disadvantages. There are also various skills in the game. There's attack, parry, swim, listen, spot trap, disarm trap, find item, pick lock, and fire bow. Here we're looking at the status screen for a minotaur, one of the characters we're creating. You'll notice that the social says laborer. The social aspect actually affects how much gold you start with. I haven't played many games that include aspects like this, especially for a game of 1988. Here what I'm doing now is adding the party members to my party. And now I'm going to go to the options menu and save the game. You can only save one game at a time. Now I'm going to see if any of my characters can learn any new spells. It's telling me I can't afford it. So what I'm going to do now is go to the bank and withdraw my money. Now we can see my priest can learn Awaken, and my wizard can learn Quickness 1. You can train characters to increase their level, as in a typical role-playing game. The classes take various experience points to go up based on the type of class. Each town also has an armory, where you can buy equipment, potions, scrolls, etc. There's not much of use here, so we're going to leave it for now. There's also a mystic option in the town which shows the score of the party. Now we're going to leave the town and wander around the wilderness. The party is represented by the horse head icon. There are various dungeons and towns you can visit throughout the game. Here we entered our first dungeon. Notice toward the bottom of the screen it describes what's going on. This is our first encounter. From the options menu you can notice that you can fight or try to run away. Here we tried to greet the enemy and they would not accept or respond. So now we're taken to the combat options screen. Our first two characters are fighters, so they're going to be thrusting. Our third one is a monk who's going to cast Fire Flash spell. Our priest is going to just thrust. Thieves are better with bows, so we're going to have them shoot. And of course our wizard is going to cast Fire Flash 1. Now you'll notice 4 rangers are on the bottom row and the wild dogs are on the top row. If you're attacking with a fighter, they can only hit the bottom row. Spells and bows can hit the top row. You'll also notice that there's actually hit areas in the game. This is revolutionary for the time. Sometimes you'll hit a person's arm and break it. You may behead them. It's very interesting. Here, one of our party members just lost his left arm. And you'll notice on the pictures on the right side of the screen, it even shows that he's missing his left arm. So we're going to cast a healing spell on him, which of course will not heal his arm. It'll heal his hit points, but his arm will still be gone. There's a certain level of spells that you have to be able to cast in order to recover lost limbs. And there's various statuses you can have for limbs. They can be injured, they can be broken, or they can be gone. Injured and broken can actually be healed by resting, but if they're actually gone, you can only heal them with a potion of a certain strength or a healing spell of a certain strength. So here we'll just finish off these enemies. Now Bruce lost his right leg too. He's going to be hobbling around for quite a while. We just got some experience and we found some golden items by beating these enemies. And now's as good time as any to show you some of the various items in the game. Here are some shields that you can find. You'll notice that they have a certain strength required to use them. It's the same way with armor. There's a strength requirement. It absorbs so much damage. We have bows, which require attributes, and it's a combination of strength and dexterity in order to use them. And then of course we have melee weapons. And this may be a little too small to view in a video, but there's quite a few. The requirements for these weapons are 2 times your strength plus dexterity. It makes you really stop and think about how you create your characters. You'll notice we just used another option there to run away. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If you don't get away, the enemy gets free shots at you, which is a very bad thing. Now here we just went back to the town, and you'll notice it's wanting us to distribute the items we found. On the upper right, it shows Y's if you can equip it, and N if you can't. And then it asks us to distribute our experience points. So we went ahead and rested at the end. Some people's maximum magic points increased, others just got their hit points back. You'll notice that the monk is still down because his arm and leg is still gone. So he's in bad shape. I just purchased a healing potion 5 to use it on him. And you'll notice it did not bring back his arm and leg. It requires a certain level. I think it's either 7 or 8 healing potion to bring back a lost limb. So now we're going back to the dungeon, and we just restored the previous map. Anytime you exit, it asks if you want to save it. And we said yes. Now you'll notice that enemies can also use magic. Here they just slowed us down. They're casting protection. So the randomness of how the enemies can cast spells and attack can make the game very fun. Here you'll see that we just tried to run away and we didn't get it. So now they get free shots at us. And we just lost a character. When characters die, a little tombstone appears appropriately. And we still didn't get away. You're going to be reloading the game quite often. It's very difficult. So now we'll go back to town and we'll show that our characters are ready to train and increase in level. You'll notice the cost is different. This is based on charisma, the character's level, and the type of class. Here our fighter just increased in level and increased his hit points by 8, and he gets 3 skills to choose. And you'll almost always want to choose attack for fighters. Now our Minotaur goes up in level. Our priest. Notice the priest's attack cannot increase as rapidly, but we still want to increase it anyway. And the way the skills works is very intriguing because it gives you a big jump in the beginning, and as you get better and better, it only increases by a tiny amount. So sometimes it's good to kind of disperse your skill increases in order to get the best bang for your buck. Thieves, of course, want to use listen, pick locks, things of that nature.